What's going on, Master Duel fans? James Polk here. Now, it's time for another tech talk, as I saw this from one of the past videos somewhere on this channel of mine, where somebody has the space to main deck something, and I said to myself, it's exactly what happens when I try to do my own strategies, but it ends up getting disrupted for quite some time. And based off from that one video that I posted a few days ago, someone had the space to fit in this main deck card, for which I'm going to discuss about, and that spaced card in terms of main decking in a best of one happens to be Book of Moon, a rather old quick play spell that simply says, not once a turn, target one face-up monster anywhere on the field, change that target to face-down defense. Now, the reason why someone had the space for Book of Moon, of course, back in the day, Book of Moon used to be at one copy per deck. That pretty much tells us, like, way back when, we all know what's up about how incredible and powerful Book of Moon really was. So, first things first, to start on the applications to certain decks. Before we get things started on the discussion, you guys know the drill. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, all that good stuff. Now, first things first, I noticed that someone had to play Book of Moon. So, what are the good applications when it comes to Book of Moon? That is a good question. First things first, let's take a little look-see at Floodgates. Floodgates specifically prevents one player from playing the game. So that means you have something like Necrozum Unicorn, who has the ability to shut off the effects of extra deck monsters. And you also have Destiny Hero Plasma, as well as Majesty's Fiend or Vanity's Fiend. And that's just huge. By Book of Mooning those monsters, their effects where your opponent cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! Are getting shut off by any means necessary. So, most cases, to some degree, when it comes to Book of Moon, if you are playing a trap-heavy deck with the likes of Labyrinth, Paleo, Eldritch, and if you happen to come across Jinzo specifically, Jinzo outright kills trap-heavy decks. But with Book of Moon established to Jinzo, you don't have to worry about your trap cards being completely dead to some degree, and it makes it so that you should be able to put yourself in a really good spot in any shape or form. Now, when it comes to the usage of archetypes from back in the day, cards to some degree with the likes of Clifford Disc, you can actually Book of Moon on Clifford Disc, and it makes it so that any given time is where the moment you have your Clifford Disc up in terms of normal summon, regularly in terms of tribute summoned, whenever Disc has the ability to put up with extra monsters from the main deck in terms of Cliffords, back in the day, we didn't have Link monsters for that matter. So what do we do to improvise that? Whenever there are two Clifford monsters to some degree, Book of Mooning one of the Clifford monsters that were special summoned from the deck, so that there shouldn't be any issues with XZ plays for that matter. And then Burning Abyss. Burning Abyss for that matter is heavily crucial to some degree, because way back when it comes to Burning Abyss, if there is a monster who is not a Burning Abyss monster, that Burning Abyss gets self-destructed. So by Book of Mooning that Burning Abyss monster, which gets put to completely face down, that face down monster ends up becoming unknown as part of public knowledge. Because a face down monster considers it to be a blank card, so that way it's like we don't know what that set monster could really be. And without any guesses about what that set monster could it be, if it's not a Burning Abyss monster, every single main deck Burning Abyss monster is completely dead in terms of unable to keep on spamming out Burning Abyss monsters on the field just to generate too many plays. And of course, Shaddolls. Shaddolls are extra nice in terms of the usage of flip effects. So in some scenarios, to some degree, like Shaddol Beast for example, let's say if for some reason they can't clear out Shaddol Beast the first time it gets flipped, you basically end up getting yourself +1 or just breaking even to some degree. But with Book of Moon ready to go for Shaddol Beast, you're basically gonna get plus like no tomorrow. And on top of that, whenever you draw into Shaddol cards to send some to the grave by card effects, thanks to the combination of Shaddol Beast and Book of Moon, you're going to generate so much advantage. And of course, at the same time, when it comes to the opposition of Shaddolls, with the likes of El Shaddol Winda, for example, El Shaddol Winda has the ability where both players can only special summon once, and no more special summons after that. But with Book of Moon, by putting Winda completely face down, you are just free to go off for the special summon in any shape or form. And last but not least, to some degree, when it comes to extra deck mechanics and or upgraded stuff, before the rules were even changed by the developers of Konami way back when, there used to be a ruling back in the day is where Absolute Zero, for example, where normally if it's face up, if it ever goes back to the extra deck, Absolute Zero would completely trigger as of back in the day. And now, before that rule changed to today's standards, where there is a way for you to cheat out that rule specifically when it comes to Absolute Zero, and no, do not do this intentionally. But way back when is where whenever they have Absolute Zero on the field, you just Book of Moon that Absolute Zero and find a way to put it back to the extra deck without having to flip it face up. Because if it gets flipped face up by any means, Absolute Zero would not be able to completely destroy those monsters if it were to stay face down, leaving the field. But with that rule change, it makes it so that Book of Moon is never that necessary anymore, with the exception to some degree when it comes to heroes like Malicious Bane and Max Hero Dark Law. So that way, if you were having problems against heroes, Book of Moon is the way to go, because you don't have to worry about any of your cards getting banished, and or you don't have to worry about any issue with Malicious Bane having battle and effect protection from destruction to some degree. And last but not least, when it comes to the XZ era, as I mentioned about Burning Abyss earlier, is where in some scenarios is where whenever they have Dante XZ on the field, you could just completely activate Book of Moon right out the gate, so that way Beatrice shouldn't be able to come out, because Dante is in face down defense, considering that face down defense an unknown monster, meaning Beatrice will not be able to come out of the extra deck off from its special mechanic in terms of her own effects. And of course, battle traps. Back in the day, when it comes to battle traps, cards such as Mirror Force, Sakuretsu Armor, and Dimensional Prison, way back when, they used to be super good in terms of the life and times of the battle trap era. But with Book of Moon, you are able to save your monster from attacking, and of course, even though it may just costed you your attack, your monster is still safe in regards of whatever goes on throughout the course of the battle phase. And now that we have Book of Moon back to 3, if anyone has the space to fit in Book of Moon, I salute to you on that one. And obviously, by today's standards, you obviously remember Babushka in today's standards of the XZ era, but with Book of Moon, as long as Babushka is in defense specifically, by turning Babushka face down, you don't have to worry about getting yourself stuck in defense and wasting your effects just to make it negated, for that matter. Let me know down in the comments below about what you guys think of Book of Moon. Again, it's one of those sauciest texts I've seen from the video over the past few days ago, and I said to myself, you know, yeah, by today's standards, there are different comparison cards between Book of Moon or Book of Eclipse to some degree, but specifically about the discussion of Book of Moon is where games these days is where Book of Moon obviously has been power crept, but to me, I find it objectively better as one of the random tech cards to this day, because Book of Moon I consider to be like one of the best neg 1 spells from back in the day, and it's just completely huge. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Tech Talk on Book of Moon. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and if you haven't already, smash the notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated, and we'll catch you guys next time.